Hello class, this is Dr. Valenzuela and welcome to week 3. I wanted to talk about the assignment in module 3. So if you click on module 3 in our MAT 240 class, you'll see the real estate assignment part 2 and click on the requirements and rubric here. So you're going to So this assignment picks up where the module 2 assignment left off, but I will still review some of those concepts. If you remember, I used Excel, um, and I'm just gonna kind of walk through what I did last time, and that'll give you sort of a review of the use of Excel. So here's the data. Open that up and click on Enable Editing. It's an Excel sheet. And I'm just gonna, randomly pick, let's say I picked the first 30. I'm not gonna count them this time, but let's say that's about 30 there. So I'm gonna cut those. I'll copy them. Okay. And then open up a new sheet. Okay. So there we go. There's the new data. Oops, you know what? I forgot something. And I'll do a right click and insert. I need the headers on top, so I'm going to get the headers. And that way we know what each column is. So I'm going to copy those headers to my Excel sheet. There we go. And there it is. Okay, so and let's just briefly go back to the module 2 assignment, just so that we can review the instructions real quick. So here's the part 1 assignment, and then okay, so it said pick 30 random sample of 30 data items. Okay, it says report the median list price and the median square foot. Median list price and median square foot. Okay, so median list price. Okay, median list price is this one. And the median square feet is this one here. Okay. So I'm going to highlight that in yellow. So median list price, median square feet. Those are the two we're looking at. And then remember, we needed to create the mean, median, and standard deviation for those two. And if you recall, I'm going to get rid of the data set. Okay, I'm just work with mine. So I needed to get the mean, median, and standard deviation. Okay. And if you remember, I used data analysis. Okay. And data analysis is, if you click on data, it's up here on the top right. If you do not see it in the top right of Excel when you click data, remember to go to File, More, Options, click on Add In, then click on Analysis Toolpack. right here. Make it blue. Hit go. If you do not see a check mark next to analysis toolpath, put a check mark, and that's what puts data analysis up here on the top right. So make sure you have a check mark next to analysis toolpath. Click OK. And then when you do click data, you'll see the data analysis pop up there. And so we're going to click data analysis. I'm going to use descriptive statistics. I'm going to use labels in the first row, put a check mark. That means I'm going to enter this as a label and it'll label my data. I'm going to click on summary statistics, then click on output range. Okay, now I'm going to put my input data. It's in a column format. That's what this is. Click the label, then highlight the label and the data going down. Then click in the output range box, and I'm going to put the output here. See how I clicked? I clicked right in that cell, and it put the cell here. So that tells it where I want the data. Hit OK. Now make this column bigger so you can see it. And so here's the median list price. There, click home, and I'll color it. Median list price. And then what you'll see is that, remember that in the instructions for Module 2, you want the mean, median, standard deviation. Okay, so here's the mean. Median. And the standard deviation right there. Okay. And remember that we can put these into dollars because we're talking about money. So do a right click, format cell, number, and I'm going to use currency. Decimal place 1. That's good. Now I'm going to do that's the mean, average, median list price. This is standard. Well, this is the median, which is the middle figure when you ordered everything, and the standard deviation. So they're deviating quite a bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the median square feet. Okay, so I'm going to go to data analysis, descriptive statistics. I'm going to do the labels in the first row, yes, and blank out my data. So I'm going to click on the label, then I'm going to highlight my data. The output range, I'm going to tell it, you can drag this down by clicking on it and moving it down. The output data, I want it right next to it. So that's what I did here. Oops. Put in a double right there. Click summary statistics, output range, labels, and then my input. Highlight this there. This is my median square feet. Oh, I'm going to color that. It's a different color. And here's the mean. Median. And standard deviation for that data item. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in terms of money. So I'm going to format with the right click, format cell, put it into currency, hit OK. Okay, there we go. So this is the mean, median, and standard deviation for the median square feet. And then remember that in that assignment, we had to do a scatter plot and then with a trend line regression equation. Okay, so I'm going to do this here. Oops, as the X, and then I'll do this column as the Y. Okay. Then what you have, so when I do my scatter plot, I'm gonna first copy my data over again because I want it to be next to each other. So I'm gonna copy my X here. Then I'm gonna copy my Y data right next to it. It makes it easier to set it up the graph that way. I just need to make this column bigger here. There we go. Okay, there we go. So here's my X and here's my Y data. And then, so when we do the scatter plot, you have to highlight all the data. Then do insert. And then this little one here with the dots is your scatter plot. There's my scatter plot. So I'm going to move it here. Okay, there's my scatter plot. And remember to include the trend line, and we had to click on the plus sign. Click on and check trend line. Click the right arrow next to trend line. Click on more options. Go down, and you want to display the regression equation, and you want to display the R-squared value. Then hit X. So click on the box. You can click on the equation. You can move it a bit. And I'm going to change, up here you can change the type and the color of the graph. Okay, I'm going to use the blue one. So here you see, here's the Y equals, this is the regression equation, and here's the R-squared value. And here's the trend line. Here's the scatter plot data. Okay. Now let's move to the Module 3 assignment. Okay, so that was pretty much what we did in the first part of the assignment. So it says provide the regression equation of the line of best fit. Okay, so when they're asking for the regression equation is this part right here. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. So this is the regression equation. Okay, that's it right there. The y equals 264.85x minus 272,327. Okay, that's the regression equation that they're asking about. Then determine R. Okay, R is the correlation value. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a correlation analysis using data analysis, okay, to get that R value. Remember, here's my X and here's my Y. These are the two variables I'm working with. The median square feet, the median listing price. Okay, so I'm going to run a correlation. So I'm going to click on data analysis. Okay. And then I'm going to click on correlation here, right here in data analysis, hit OK. The input range will, well, first I'm going to use labels in the first row. I'm going to use these two labels. It's going to be in a column. I'm inputting a column format. The input range will be both columns of data. And then I want the output range to be inside the cell box underneath here. Okay, so here's my correlation. This is the correlation R value between these two variables, X and Y. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to format that cell into a 2 decimal cell. Decimal place is number 2. Okay, so it's an 0.80. So the R value, okay, so when you talk about the R, correlation R value is equal to 0.80. Well, there's an 80% correlation between the two. Okay, so when it says determine R, R is, in my case, the data that I have is 0.80. Okay. In my case, the R is a strong correlation, 80% correlation. 0.80 is 80%. So this is a strong correlation. Remember that the highest that you can go with a correlation is 1 or 100%. The lowest, that's extremely, so that means, so basically, if you have 100% correlation, that means that these dots on the scatter plot will be on the line. It's 100% correlation. And an 80% correlation means the majority of the dots are close to the line. If you have a 0 correlation, you'll have a big cloud of dots, and there's no correlation of the two variables, okay, with the trend line. And the closer it is to 0, you'll see kind of a cloud around the trend line. Okay, which is a weak correlation. Is there a positive or negative association? Now, in this case, it is a positive correlation. Positive correlations move upwards from left to right. Negative correlations move downwards from left to right on the graph. So mine is moving upwards, so that's a positive correlation. Okay. What direction do I see as a correlation? It's a positive correlation moving upwards from left to right on my graph. Examine the slope and intercept. Okay. So the slope, let's go back to the regression equation. The slope is, okay, the slope is this figure right here, 264.85, okay? .85 is the slope. Okay, that's the slope. So so the intercept, I guess here when we look at the base observer, the intercept. Now, so we could, if we set x, I guess we could set y equal to 0. Let's see, to get the intercept. When y is 0, okay, meaning this value here is 0, set y equal to 0 in the regression equation. So then solve. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 0 here on this left-hand side. So you get 0 equals 264.85x minus 272.327. Okay, then, so you see this here. I'm going to move this negative to the left-hand side of this equation. So I get 272327 equals 264.85x. Now remember, to solve this equation for x, I'm going to divide both sides by 264.85. So x is equal to 272327 divided by 264.85. And then we get, to solve that, 272327, put in an equals, oops, sorry. When you do an actual computation in Excel, put an equal sign to then enter your formula. 272,327 divided by 264.85. Okay, so x, when y is 0, x is 1028. So the intercept point is when is 1028 is x, then y is 0. Okay. So the intercept is about, if you look on the scale on the graph for my data, when x is 1028, which is right here, see this right here, 1028, this line is going to cross right here, right in here. Okay, that's what it's saying, is this is the intercept. When y, when kind of like, I guess if you think about in terms of money, if I have 1,000 square foot home, I'm not going to get any money for it. There's zero money. So for me to make money on these listings, I need a house that's going to be bigger than 1,028 square feet. As soon as the homes are bigger than 1,028 square feet, I will start to make money on the listing. Okay. There'll be the listing price. I'm sorry, the listing prices will start to be positive. Okay, because as soon as you hit 1,028 square feet, well, you're listing at 0. There's no market there for it. Okay, that's what it's saying. Okay. You can assume when the square footage of the house is 0 that the price of the value of it's just the land. That happens when x is 0, which is the y-intercept. So it kind of reversed it a little bit. Let's set x equals 0 and then get y. So I did it when y was 0. So let's do it when, okay, let's do it with the way the instructions talked about. Let x be 0, then you have y equals 264.85 times x, which is going to be 0, minus 272,327. Okay, so notice that when you multiply 0 times this number, it's going to be 0. So y equals a negative 272,327. So in this case, you get the intercept when x is 0, y is a negative 272,327. Okay, which tells me when the square footage is 0, I'm actually in a negative range of money. Okay, so basically what happens when I'm here, when x is 0, see this line is passing down to the negative range of money. So in this case, the land is really not worth any money at all. Okay, the r squared. What does the r squared? Remember that on the up here, I had the r squared is 0. I'll copy that. Okay, so the r squared value is here, 0.6379. Okay. The r squared value tells us how close the dots are to the line. So the closer your r squared is to 1 means the closer the dots are to the line. It tells us how strong that correlation is and how, so the closer the r squared is to 1, the better it is for your analysis of computing trends and forecasting with the regression equation. The closer the r squared is to 0 means that you have a cloud around the trend line. It's not close to the trend line. And it means that the less accurate your computations will be for forecasting with the regression equation. Okay. Remember that you use the regression equation for forecasting trends. In this case, x, you're going to input x in the equation would be the square feet. And then you put the square feet in x here. You can do the computation. And it'll tell you what the listing price should be. So the r squared is very important in using the regression equation. Okay, so that sums up this assignment. And I wanted to make sure you have this. This is Dr. Valenzuela, and hopefully this will help you in this second part of the assignment. Thank you.